Hi, this is Katie Shell. I'm an intuitive healer and spiritual counselor. I work with several modalities, including astrology, aromatherapy. I do energy work. Everything is really about energy work, whether it's coming through in giving and receiving information, whether it's through the body, I do embodied movement, whether it's through the earth, whether it's through other beings. It's all about the energy work because everything is about energy. So what this particular video is focused on the actually opening up our intuitive abilities and clarifying them and fine-tuning them, whether or not you are highly experienced in this world or new to it. Working with aromatherapy can really bring a new way of understanding, receive new connections, and kind of further enhance whatever it is you're doing. So I have a course coming up. It's called the Principles of um, Aromatherapy for Developing Intuition, for Developing Intuitive Abilities, something like that. Um, and in December, so this is being recorded in what, October of 2022, and I will have an intro class, an hour and a half, 2 hour class coming up in December, and then later in 2023 there will be a multi-week course where we really dive into all of these different aspects, and then hopefully then that will eventually turn into a recorded class that you can buy online. So depending on when in time you are watching this video, that will make a difference as to what is actually available. But whatever I'm doing, whenever I'm working with any intuitive work, I am working with the oils. Whether or not you see me working with them or not, I am experiencing with them, and I'm connected into that plant and tree kingdom because they have been. That was when my intuition really came up. I've always kind of had a sense of things. I've always believed in the ability for sensing into other worlds, being able to be, highly intuitive and all of that. But it was when I did my initial training in Wisdom of the Earth, which is the aromatherapy company I teach for. I'm also a distributor for. It's not a multi-level marketing company, but that's a whole other that's a whole other video conversation, whatever. But when I did my initial training, now I'm one of the teachers to connect in with the plant kingdom. I started really hearing voices and seeing visions, and so in the past, I think that was close to 10 years ago. Again, wibbly wobbly, Doctor Who, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, but that was what really kind of turned that switch for me from like having a feeling to actually seeing, hearing things. And so this class is really about how to, and you can take that aromatherapy certification class, and it does do a little bit of that, but this is really focusing on how we open those things up. So what I wanted to just talk about is just so I am laying out for you here the outline. This is like the table of contents, right? So this is the table of contents. Then the 2 hour version is going to go into a little bit deeper, and then we really expand that out in the longer course. So how this works, how it works for me working with aromatherapy is, one, we are physical beings, and there is nothing more important that I teach to anybody, anywhere, anytime, is that we are physical beings inhabiting a physical body, experiencing the planet Earth. So everything we need to do needs to be experienced through the body. We can't just tune into these higher frequencies or whatever, and then because then they just sit there. Or they get stuck somewhere. They get stuck in the head, and we have headaches, or we have backaches, or we have whatever, because they get stuck up somewhere else and we don't know what to do with them. So we need to move them through the body. Working with essential oils is one of the tools to help do that, because the essential oils are gifts from the Mother Earth. And I say this all the time. They're a gift from the Mother Earth. And so they help us connect with our own body and connect with the Mother Earth, connect with the voices of the messages of what it is we are here to receive, what it is we are here to do, why we have bodies right now, and then because we have bodies in order to experience things, in order to have physical senses, in order to experience things. So the essential oils help us fine tune those. They help us tune in to our own senses because they are physical. They're, we touch them, we smell them, we can taste them. Um, Maybe we can't always hear them. I mean, I hear the voices of the plants and trees, but that's not necessarily like you don't like listen to the bottle or, I mean, you can, I do. But it's not the same way. It's not that same tactile. It's that's already tuning into that intuitive part. But you can hear the plants. Like you can go outside and hear the wind through the trees. It doesn't necessarily come through the oils, but you can hear Mother Nature. You can hear the ocean. You can hear the rivers. You can hear all sorts of parts of the physical planet. And so we want to tune into that because that is how we receive it and that is how we move this information through. So whatever oil you use, any oil is going to help with that. There's no specific oil that is going to tune us more into the frequency of the planet than any other. Well, no specific plant. The frequency of how it is grown, where it is grown, who touches it, all of that is contained within the oil. So it is important. Your sourcing and the intentions that we put in, because it is a liquid, because it absorbs that vibration. So that part of it is important. However, what kind of oil, when it comes to awakening our physical senses and getting in touch with our intuition from that perspective, it doesn't matter so much. But there are ones that are going to help us ground better. There are ones that are going to help us touch the earth better. There are ones that are going to help us feel that physical connection, get us deeper into the bodies. Anything with black, so the one I'm holding right now is black spruce. It's a tree. Trees are going to help us feel more solid, create a stronger foundation for us, roots. Like vetiver, spikenard. Spikenard is actually the one that I feel that embodies all of the different aspects that I'd like to incorporate in whatever I'm doing. It embodies it is a root, so it roots us, it connects us, really creates that stability on the planet Earth. It's green, so anything green is going to connect us with the heart, and so part of this is always going to be opening up the heart, opening up to receive love, because that is the frequency at which that we want to receive and create. And then it's going to open up the head and open up the intuition itself, so that we can receive from our higher dimensional self, from higher dimensional beings, whatever it is, however it is that you want to tune into actually receiving that information. But the oils will help. So you want to always start with the black, start with the root, because you want to get into the body. You want to create that container. You want to solidify, consecrate that container for that information to come through in. Otherwise, again, it's getting stuck all up here. Next, and then the other thing that happens with working with essential oils for our intuitive development is that it helps us, it creates a new language. It creates this additional language of each plant, each tree has a different message that it comes across. So it's like we're working with crystals. If I get a vision of a hematite, it's about grounding. If I get a vision about, or a sense of something green, like malachite, let's say malachite, I know it's something is happening in the heart. Or when we see colors, when we hear voices, when we tune into things. So if I hear black spruce, I know somebody needs protection, because black spruce is about protection. Or I smell it. I will smell things while I am talking to clients, while I'm talking or doing intuitive work. I will smell things, and that gives me information. I've also had times when people, not even understanding the language of plants, have spoken of specific plants. And that has triggered certain responses in me because I understand that. They might not understand the meaning of it, but I do. And so it gives us this whole other language. An example of that is, I always talk about this example because I still think it's a great thing that happened, um, is basil. Holy basil is about connecting with other lifetimes and clearing them. It's about pain. And I received a reading, as I'm recording this, about a year and a half ago. And somebody, the person said something about basil. And it was about relaxing or something. It was completely unrelated. But I knew that it's actually about other lifetimes and healing pains and how they get stuck in the body. And so it actually sent me on this whole other thing, which is incorporated into all of this. But again, we're not talking, that's not the focus of this particular conversation. The point is that we receive these things, we receive these bits of information. And hyssop is another one that I'll smell. Hyssop is about letting go. So I'll be talking to somebody and I'll start smelling hyssop, and I know that it means that they need to let go of something, that they need to surrender, that they need to forgive themselves. And so all of these things happen, and this creates this whole new language at which that we can receive information. So we expand that. We talk about that. We will get into that more. Then opening the heart, because we want to speak, we want to share, we want to connect with the frequency of the heart. The universal language, the universal truth of the cosmos is about love, and it was about loving ourselves more fully, loving each other more fully, just kind of basking in this, as I'm saying this, this kind of nebulous thing of love, but we're learning how, and so we want to connect. What would love do? What would love do? What would love do? How do we tune into that? So so then we want to anoint our hearts so that our hearts feel free to love and receive in the ways that we need to, and to connect with that frequency, for ourselves and for anyone else that we're working with. And then we will receive that information, those beings that are also tuned into that frequency of love. And then we feel safer within ourselves, because another piece of this is trusting our intuition, and trusting ourselves, and trusting that the information that we receive is actually important. And we do that by trusting ourselves a little more, loving ourselves a little more. So with that, I always am gonna, there's specific oils I like to work with for that. Green cardamom is really good, for opening the heart. Black cardamom too, especially if you want to get into some of that more shadow work. The one I'm holding right now that I was going to talk about a little bit in this video is ylang ylang. And ylang ylang is a flower, so all of the blossoms are about the heart. All of the blossoms are about self-love, self-care, and being our own unique, beautiful, flowering self. So lang lang is also a tree. So it also has that kind of powerful, strong grounding aspect. It is yellow flowers. They're big, beautiful flowers. And so it has this real strength to it, this real power to it. So when we feel more secure in ourselves, when we feel more secure in our power, a friend of mine who does a lot of work with colors, always says that everybody needs a little yellow, because we need that strength and we need that confidence to do whatever else it is, even if we are in alignment with another color. The yellow will help us be more confident and more secure in who we are. So I like using the lang lang for opening, for that heart, for feeling secure and safe and open in the heart. So then the next thing that we want to do when we're connecting is we want to be able to clear the mind. So we want to work with oils like hoe wood, that softens the mind, that clears the mind. I have the one I'm holding right here is white spruce, and that's about clarity. It's another tree. So all of these kind of have this kind of strong tree aspect. So because we want that column, we want that full sense of self and that full sense of awareness of, and in the course, and especially in the extended course, we'll get into some of the trippier essences that really, really open us up, but we have to do all of it all together. because again, we have to create that container to be able to receive the information. I just love smelling my oils. But with the white spruce, it helps clarify the mind, it helps clear the mind, and it helps us receive that higher consciousness. And so that is another piece of this. So we want to again create the foundation, create the container to receive. We want to open up the heart so we can love, so we can choose love, trust ourselves, trust our and tune into that highest frequency, which is love. And then we want to open up the mind, and we want to clear the mind. We want to clear some of that negative self-talk, some of those um, the the voices that come from self-doubt, the voices that come from what other people have told us to do. We want to clear those voices out so we can hear the helpful voices better. And so we will work with oils again, like hoewood, mugwort. Mugwort is about clearing, it's about movement. And so we put all of that, so we can put that on the temples, on the crown, on the back of the head, to create to open up that channel so we can bring in that information. And then finally, we tune into some oils that are about focus and about our path, that are more like rosemary, which I've done like 2 or 3 videos on rosemary, because I find rosemary so important as far as living our path and being aware of our path and knowing how to take those next steps. We also work with things like sandalwood for wisdom, because we can put that on the third eye to open it up. We can, and there's always kind of 2 trains of thought that I go with for the oils when I'm opening up to receive information. Once I've kind of established the container and gotten that security within myself and tuned into that frequency of love, there's kind of there's 2 different ways to focus. And there's focused oils. There's ones like the white pine cone. There's ones like this white spruce, that are very clean and very crisp and have so if I'm looking for answers, if I have a question, I'm looking for answers. If I'm doing a reading for a person, if I am writing, I will use these kinds of oils that help me with clarity. If I am just looking to expand and just open up to the infinite wisdom of the cosmos and just receive and see what more is possible, and these are the kinds of oils I might put on a client while I'm working with them, because maybe I'm going to focus, but I want them to be totally expanded. I want to focus in on specific things that they're bringing through, but they need to open up. So things like the tansies, we don't have wild tansy anymore, but common tansy, blue tansy, Greenland moss, oh my goodness, is so amazing. Champaka, another flower, but all of these ones that are these oils that Himalayan cedarwood, which is a wood, so it gets us in our body, but it gets us out of the head, and so it opens us up to receive at all of these different directions. So we will go over different tech as we, in the 2-hour class, we'll go into basically what I've done over the last 20 minutes, but we will do some specific techniques, the meditations along with them, and then the 6-week course will be much more expanded, where we do each one of these things, take a week for each one and really feel into the body, really allow ourselves to connect with all of the different things. And then that will, you can get a kit with that. You don't have to get a kit with it. I will list out the specific oils that we will use, or options, because this isn't about one specific oil or 5 specific oils or 10 specific oils. It's about working with the oils and allowing them to open you up to, again, tuning into the body frequency, because it's all about the physical body and receiving through the physical body. And then we connect with the ancestors and the higher our higher self, other dimensional beings, and then we can connect with all those from a clearer space, from an open heart. And so again, I will give you suggestions on the types of oils for each specific thing, and there will be specific ones that we're working with in the class, but we won't be required to buy the kit for the class. At least that is my intention as I am recording this video. As my guides come in and help me frame this more, there may be tweaks that happen. So like, don't say, "Oh, you said in that video," because it might change, and that's part of the being willing to be open and being willing to receive. Is that we have preconceived notions, we have preconceived ideas about what it is we desire, what it is we want to create, and there are many, many avenues at which we can explore that. And if we focus on a single one, we may miss something. So I hope this helps. Have a great day. Thank you.